Hey guys, as I was uploading the other video, I noticed they have just updated the Commons section of the Tournament Pack 5. This will be a quick overview of what to be expected from the rest of the pack. First card is Snake Yashi. Nothing really of note to say about this. It is a level 4 plant earth attribute normal monster with 1000 attack and 1200 defense. What is interesting about this card is until now, it has not been released beforehand in English. This means the price of the card might increase, being a first print, though I would advise selling them quickly as the people who will want them are purely collectors. The next card is Ferolimp, a dark-type fiend normal monster with 1300 attack and 1400 defense. This card has needed a reprint for quite some time, not for any real usefulness, as I've never heard anyone demand for Ferolimp, but it has only been released back in Metal Raiders and Starter Deck Yugi, which was the original first set pack, meaning many people outside of those who haven't watched the anime won't know of this card's existence. The next card is Mystical Shineball, a level 2 light fairy monster with 500 attack and 500 defense. This card is interesting at the time of release as the new fairy structure deck is revealing their details. This makes me think they may introduce further support relating to this card. This card has had its relevance within the initial release of Xyz monsters for the combos used by the Angel of Creation Venus, who could summon all three, permitting Gachi Gachi Gentetsu, which is a rank 2 Xyz monster, to increase your monster's attack points, or to summon Daigusto Phoenix for 2 attacks that turn. Its importance may remain within the introduction of link monsters, as the less specific ones enable any monster to count towards their summoning, making easy link 2 or 3 monsters. The next card is Kage to Kage. This card was first released in Photon Shockwave, but has had several reprints, and by that standard is probably one of the least worthy cards in this pack to demand a reprint. That is not to say that the card is anyway bad, but rather that its spot in the pack could have been taken up by a more worthy monster. It has relevance mainly towards the summoning of rank 4 Xyz monsters, but again with the introduction of the link format and the overall restrictions put towards Fusion, Synchro, Xyz and Pendulum, going into the cards becomes more difficult. The next card is Tin Goldfish. This card was first released in Hidden Arsenal 7, Knight of Stars. This card has the same noteworthiness of Kage to Kage, as it was mostly used as Xyz material, but with the direction of the link format, it is less effective. A further note is this card would usually be used to summon Bahamut Shark to bring out a totally awesome, but this can no longer be continued with the link rules, reducing the chances of facing this card. The next card is Scapegoat. This card was first released in the Shining Victory Special Edition as a super rare, and was then printed mainly for the Dark Illusion pack in August 2016. In this case it was a common and was therefore easy to obtain. The reprint is nice as it is a relatively new card, but again, as it is new, it is not a card difficult to obtain by traditional standards, e.g. eBay or Amazon. The card is very versatile as tokens can be used to summon link monsters, and so can easily bring out a link 3 or 4, providing there is no specific cost attached to that link monster. It can also be used for synchros, as if you can protect this monster on your turn, you can make it a level 5, or helps to generally protect your field from board spams. The weakness of the card is it has 0 attack and defense, and so will any tokens made, resulting in inflicting piercing damage being so common as an effect with monsters. It will often be the same as if they attacked you directly. The next card is Fairy Tail Luna. This card was first released in Maximum Crisis back in May of this year, but it was a super rare as opposed to now being a common in the tournament pack. This card enables you to search out any of the other Fairy Tail monsters who have abilities to disrupt opponents' plays. Interestingly, this card can also be teched into a Charmer deck, as the main Charmers have 1850 attack. This card can also return one monster on your opponent's side of the field to the hand. The issue with this ability is it can be negated by sending another copy of that card to the graveyard. This can play into an opponent's strategy, as it might be a card they want in the graveyard. that they might not have drawn into if this effect had not been activated. Overall, making this card more accessible is generally a good idea, as it is too recent to have been expecting a reprint, forcing a reduction in prices for the super rare. The next card is Rose Spectre of Dun. This card has not been released in English before because Snake Yashi, one of the two monsters needed to make it, has not been released. Either the other card for its fusion is Ferrolimp, which explains why all three can be found in this pack. The card itself is weak as it's one of the first fusions within the game and has no effect built into it, making it a 2000 attack monster with 1800 defense that can be easily outcompeted by cards as low as level 4 who have the same attack points. This card only has a collector's value to it. Next card is Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. This card was released on the 15th of September 2011. This card was a super rare, making it very difficult to obtain. Many people have only just gotten into the game, would not have had access to this card, and also with the pack being in short circulation now, with many left unopened packs being offered above normal retail price. The card itself is very useful and versatile, being accessible to other decks outside of pure heroes, provided they run minimal hero cards. The next card is Scapegoat. This card was released in 13 packs so far, ranging from Tournament Pack 7 back in 2005 to its latest release in Legendary Decks 2 on October 2016. The card is very easily accessible and has no need to be reprinted, though there were no guarantees of pulling this card until the Master of Pendulum Structure deck on the 3rd of December in 2015. The space this card takes could have been taken up by a better card that has had fewer releases. This card is versatile for its purpose, as it can be used to protect your field from attacks and can be used either to help synchro summon or to summon non-specific link monsters. The next card is Chain Summoning. This card was released on the 26th of January 2008 and has not been released since. This card has needed a reprint as it is almost 10 years old and can be difficult to obtain if you're starting off playing. This card is difficult to use and is very situational at the best of times, however it can be used by a new archetype called Trickstars, who rely on multiple chains to inflict burn damage. The other problem with this card is even if you manage to use its effects, the likelihood of accessing all three normal summons in one turn is unlikely outside of cards that enable multiple searching, such as gadgets. The next card is Secret Village of the Spellcasters. This card was released in 3 sets in 3 different rarities. First in Crossroads of Chaos on the 1st of November 2008 as a super rare, next in Duelist League 14 on the 1st of June 2012 as a rare, and lastly in Legendary Decks 2 on the 6th of October 2016 as a common. Generally, this card did not require a reprint as there are enough in circulation, but it is very versatile, being used in any deck requiring spellcasters to remove their opponent from using spells, which are commonly used in Yu-Gi-Oh! The last card is Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. This card was released in Raging Battle back in 2nd of May 2009 and has not had a reprint by this standard. It has been requiring one, but its relevance will be undermined by the link format. Currently, this could be used against True Dracos and some other decks, but is prone to being destroyed by spell and trap cards within that same archetype. There are decks being released in the link format that don't require high-level monsters, such as the Magic Bullets, Trickstars, and Goki, as well as link monsters who do not have a level, and Xyz that have a rank can all avoid this card's effect. It can be protected, however, by the Despair, Uranus, or Card Guard. Overall, when looking at this pack, there are some good cards that are currently relevant. However, since they are provided during the tournaments themselves, and some people do not have access to decent tournaments, I would not concern myself too much, as these cards can be mostly accessed through the secondary market. And the few cards that have not been released in English have no place in the meta currently. And tell me what you guys think of the video. Make sure to leave a like if you liked it. Please comment and please subscribe. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.